Guess you and I are going to be bringing the second in the whole time.
They're going.
Okay, we'll start with roll call. Alder Steuer,
I am here.
Alder Eck,
Here.
and Alder Weary, which is the chair, so I'm operating as vice chair, is not present today.
Excuse.
Excused
As
absence.
an excused absence,
Yeah.
sorry. I just want to make one request here on reference. I know it's out of line here a little bit, but at our last Parks meeting, we had in honor and a promise that I made to him that we would start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Is that all right with everybody?
It's up to you.
I know we don't have a
Sure.
flag in here.
Right behind you.
Behind you.
Right behind you.
Can we do that?
Sure.
I
Okay.
made a promise to him, and I thought we'd keep that
Fine,
as
that's
a
fine.
meeting committee.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just as a commitment to our, as a reminder to
Okay.
try to put things all in context here and
All right.
keep everybody fresh. So do I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that's approved.
Oh, we gotta vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Who did that? Sorry.
Aye.
I moved, he seconded. It's pretty much going to be that way
Yeah.
the whole time.
The Ed Steuer Show.
And I probably have
Or
to say
you-
aye
or the
too,
opposite,
right?
right.
Is it passed if only two are? Yeah, that's majority, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's majority.
Just understanding it.
All right.
Could I have the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, move on to regular business. Would you like to start?
Number
gotta
one.
Read it.
Just
Oh,
read it.
number
Read
one.
it on number one. Yeah.
Consideration with possible action approving $32,500 to fund 1/3 of the cost of a new Sam and Sadie Otter Memorial Sculpture exhibit at the Wildlife Sanctuary with Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary, and the funding the remaining 2/3 of the cost. Staff?
Yeah, so in the spring of 2022, our longtime resident otters, Sam and Sadie, both passed away. So the city received them in 2008 when they were only 1 week old. And recently, the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary worked with Kent Hutchinson, who's a local artist, to design an interactive memorial harp piece in remembrance of the two otters that passed away. So you'll see the sculpture in your agenda packet. I'll just kind of bullet point here a few items in relation to what the sculpture is. So this will be an outdoor sculpture, and there'll be a walk-through sculpture. So you can actually walk through the middle of you can walk through the sculpture itself, and it'll appear as though you're in the water, because there'll be life-size otter bronze castings, and there'll be some vegetation that, like lily pads that come, will appear like the water surface. So it'll feel like you're actually walking through an underground water display.
Is there a
And-
sketch?
Yeah.
Is it in there or
Yeah.
not?
Yep,
keep
so the
going, it's
image
down
is
there.
shown in there.
Just like this.
So,
Maybe walk it through.
like I said, there will be a bronze sculpture of the two otters, but then there'll also be sculptures of various fish and habitat. There'll be some stumps that are in there, and so it's a very interactive display. So, hold on. The video isn't showing up on here, so we're seeing if we can figure that out. Hold on just 1 second.
Broke the mold.
Nice.
That hurts.
Coughing or throwing up?
Laughing.
No, I meant
No.
yesterday. Oh.
Try not to get leaked.
Just in case it's.
Coughing really hurts. Oh, I was thinking
If
about
you
it.
did, we'd
No.
have to cancel, wouldn't we?
Hey,
Because we don't
normally-
have this quorum.
Perfect.
In the future, we'll make sure that we have somebody.
All right, so we have video footage.
You have video?
Couldn't figure out what was going on.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Good.
So anyway, that's a brief description of the sculpture itself. It'll be a walk-through sculpture, it'll be an outdoor sculpture, and it'll be placed right at the entrance to the Woodland Building. So as you enter kind of where the otter exhibit is, it'll be right there. So what is being proposed is that the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary have already committed to proceeding with option one, which is, if you look at that image, it's just a downscaled version of that image. So option one does not include the bronze fish. It also doesn't include the trees and stumps. So it's kind of a smaller version of what you see in that image. And the full version of what you see in that image costs $97,500. So the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary approached the city and asked if we would split the cost with them, where the city funds a third and the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary pays for the 2/3. And it's something that will be an exhibit that I think is worthwhile. I think it'll be a fun. It's not just an art piece. It's actually an exhibition, and so it's something that you can walk through, or an exhibit. And so we're definitely in favor of it. And we do have funding that's available through an estate donation. So within the last few years, the City of Green Bay, and specifically the Wildlife Sanctuary, received some substantial donations through various estates that were settled. And right now, we have plenty of money in that account to fund this, so there'd be no cost to the taxpayers for this display, and we'll just take it out of that donated money. And so, obviously, you can ask me questions, but there are representatives from the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary here.
Okay.
Start with questions from staff.
Oh, I just wanted to, because you said that they committed to option one, but it sounds like option two is what the plan is.
Correct. So they already hired the artist for option one, and so they're committed to funding the full amount of option one on their own.
Okay.
But they would really like to see option two built, which is what we would actually prefer as a staff too.
Okay.
So they're requesting that the city chip in an additional $32,500 to be able to afford option two.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Yep.
Should we open the floor, or you?
Well, that's a
you got
quick
it.
question.
Go ahead.
So
No,
option
not
one
yet.
costs
I got
X amount, and option two is 90,000, is that it?
Correct.
What was-
Option
57.
one,
Which one?
Slide down on it.
option one is $62,500.
Okay.
And option two is $97,500.
Not a problem. All right, great. Well, I'd make a motion.
Oh, he has a question.
Go ahead.
Then we want to open the floor too.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
you're done.
Let's
Yeah.
do that.
So where is this money coming from? The city side of it?
It was, over the last several years, we actually received two fairly significant donations.
No, the city, 1/3.
Correct,
That's what
the
he's talking
city's
about.
one-third.
That'll be
And
it.
so the city actually collected the money from the donation. 'Cause the donation was to the Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a city facility. So it was a donation to the city of Green Bay to go towards improvements at the Wildlife Sanctuary. So we haven't set priorities to that funding yet. We'll be doing that shortly. But there's plenty of money between those two donations to fund this $32,500, and still do a lot of other really good things at the
So
sanctuary.
as I think of it then, or clarify what you're saying, that was already in a fund, so this isn't costing the taxpayers any money.
No, it's money we
Okay.
have sitting in a city account.
That's good to know. Other than I did a little research on it, and I'm not sure where, this looks like this guy's done some stuff around town, and I was wondering who hired him, just by question.
Yeah, so the Friends of the
And you
Wildlife
clarified that already.
Sanctuary hired the artist to do option one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, or two.
Or two if we approve the additional funding. So it was something that they worked with the artist on and hired them.
Sure. Okay, that's where I was wondering how, usually this comes around to bids,
Yep.
for regular matters, so. I was
And-
just wondering where that, so that wasn't in the packet to diverse, so.
Yeah, and in this case, we didn't have to because the city
Yeah.
hasn't put any money into it and they already contracted with the artist to start on the project.
Makes sense,
There you go. Motion, open the floor.
Second.
Okay.
right?
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I know.
Hi.
So anybody want to speak
Anybody?
on this?
Is there anybody who would like to speak on this matter or just come up and answer questions?
Support?
Dan did a great job, and
Oh, yeah.
Well, come on
Tell
up.
us what's coming.
If you'd like to just come to the podium and
just-
give your name and address.
You sure made it all the way down here, we like to
We're
hear
pretty
it.
easy going.
Tim Enright and 2149 Hawthorne Heights Drive, that's in Ledgeview, and I am with the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
What option do you like? You'd like to go?
I
option two?
like option 2,
Okay.
I really do, yeah. It's, well, you can see by the rendering, it's really sort of, it's a very unique piece of art.
Just another question, as you're walking through the door, so to speak, because I've been there numerous times with my children and that, the otter, they'll still have room for otters to the right, correct?
Yep, so as you're looking at the door going in, the otters are to the right, and this will be just to the left. There's a little landscape bed right next to the door. We'll remove the landscape and put this sculpture there.
So, okay. All right. That's all I have right now. That's great. That's a nice rendering, so we'll discuss shortly, but we just wanted to see what
All
support.
right, thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate
Yeah.
all that you're doing out at the Wildlife Sanctuary. It's one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah, thank you.
It's such a wonderful place. It's
And
very nice.
And it's in my district.
Well,
Oh, it is?
Of course
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
I mean, of course it is.
So yeah, I'm
Right.
honored to have it there, and be more part of it with Dan. Like I always said when I says, how many districts can say they have an amusement park, a zoo, and a ski hill, and then, not that the ski hill's there, but it's close,
Yeah,
right?
pretty nice.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thumbs up.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Maybe on Zoom.
That would be it.
On Zoom? Anyone?
Okay,
Is
No?
there
motion-
anyone on Zoom that would like to speak to this issue?
That
Motion
motion
to
close
close-
the floor.
Motion to close the floor. Or-
Second.
Or,
All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye. Okay. Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I just had, out of curiosity, is he related to Jim Hutchison?
Yes,
He is. Is he his son?
that's his son.
Okay, I didn't know that. I mean, I've seen Kent's work, I just didn't know they were related, so.
Well,
Motion to approve.
No, I second. Option,
All those in favor say aye. I'm sorry, to
For
clarify,
option two.
for option 2.
correct?
What you're
Well,
doing
that's
is
what-
approving $32,500
Okay.
towards the project.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a motion to approve the
Motion
32,000.
by Eck, and I second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Is that me?
Nay? No. Okay.
Oh.
Did you say nay or yours?
I'm in favor.
Okay.
He's asking.
It's your district.
We both said yes.
All
That would be a
right.
big whoops.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. All right, moving on. Number 2, consideration with possible action on approving a donation of a turtle sculpture from the Baird Creek Preservation Foundation to be placed within the Baird Creek Greenway.
All right, so in March of 2022, the Park Committee and City Council granted approval to the Bear Creek Preservation Foundation to install some educational signage throughout the Greenway. And the signage will highlight different habitats and ecosystems of the Greenway, and it'll point out some of the unique habitat and unique geological features within the Greenway. In total, there's going to be 11 signs. So in addition to the signage, what you approved at that meeting a year ago was a long-term concept to install 5 to 10 sculptures adjacent to the signage. And the sculptures would highlight the living things in the Bear Creek and tie it into the habitat signage that's going in. So each sculpture would bring together art, nature, and education while having elements of exploration and learning incorporated into them. So last March, you approved the first sculpture, which was some giant butterfly wings that you could stand up next to and take some photographs next to it. That was the first one. And at that meeting, what we said is we would bring each sculpture back to the committee for approval, so you would get to see what the sculpture is going to look like before it goes in. So this is the second sculpture that's being presented to you as part of this project. And in general, we're supportive of it. The Bear Creek Preservation Foundation is going to fund the sculpture in its entirety for the hiring the artist, doing the work, and then installing it. And the location of this particular sculpture that you see in here, which is a turtle sculpture, it'll go next to the paved trail, kind of where the parking lot is on the far east side off of Bear Creek Road. So it'll be where our new pedestrian bridge went in, right, roughly in that area. So, and it'll go right next to one of the ecosystem panels that, signs that are being installed there also. So I would recommend approval, but if you have questions.
I would recommend we move it by Turtle Hill by Dan's school at the beginning of the trail. Because that's called Turtle Hill.
It is.
Yes.
I can talk to them about it.
My kids sledded on it. That's where I initially thought, that's where it's going. Cool. Because that's the only reason I know that's called Turtle Hill.
And I can
Well-
talk to them about it. I know they were trying to tie it into the signage.
I know.
And so related to the ecosystem signage that's being installed. And I know that the sign that relates to this particular sculpture will be down on the other end.
Well, I know where
So-
the bridge is, but yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's a good idea that I can explore with them, I guess. If you don't have, I mean, if you're open to either location, I guess all you'd have to do is approve the sculpture to be installed, and then they can work with staff on selecting the final location, and we can pick one or the other location and bring it up at that point.
So is that a recommendation or amendment?
Well, that could just be part of your motion, to work
Okay.
with staff on the final selected location, if you're open to both locations.
I mean, when Baird's Creek ain't open, they go to Turtle Hill. You know, we need a tow rope there. No, just kidding. Any questions?
No.
Yes. The Turtle Hill, which I didn't know was called that, is that, like, are the sculptures planning to get that far over? Or, like, what were the plans for the locations? Would it go all the way through?
For the
all way
most
to
part, it
Tibbetts?
would follow the paved trail, so
Okay.
that most of the people can see it. I mean, that's where most of the use is in the Bear Creek Greenway, is walking up and down the trail. So most of the signage just follows the trail.
And I noticed that it has influence from the Oneida tribe with the moons on the back.
Yes, yes, it does. This
I was given one
particular
as a gift, so I
sculpture
know, that's why I recognize it.
Is that like a calendar or?
It's a moon, all the moons.
does.
Oh,
Yes.
is that what it is? I was trying to read it.
So I'm looking at the map of the signage. Most of the signage follows that trail, but not all of it. Some of it is on the other side of the highway. So it'd be east of I-43, and that would go like adjacent to Kristen McAuliffe Park and other areas over there. And it would follow kind of the natural trails, not the paved trails. So, but it's all along the trail systems.
Well, although not my district, I do use that trail, and I've seen quite a bit of improvements, from nice benches that have a memorial memorandum or whatever. Cement pads going in all the time, and every time I go down there, there's something new down there, and it's very cool, and it gets well used. And, the more it gets used, the safer it will be too. And, yeah, I just would make that a suggestion, I guess. Not that I'm against it, but boy, it would be cool to have that at Turtle Hill. I noticed they have a new sign there this year that was a metal cutout that was put in.
Yep, that was a trailhead sign.
Yeah, quite a few new things along the way, you know. And I use it all the time on my bike, paddling.
Pedaling,
Oh.
oh, not as
But
an
I will
electric
say,
bike?
I will say I did get off into the rougher stuff. That's pretty rough back there. I mean, even for walking.
Yeah.
So I think
You
it
wanna
would be
make-
better on this.
I'll make a motion.
If I want to say that's probably about a 2.5 mile stretch there. Because I know it's 3.5 from my house.
Okay.
So there and back, so
Can I make a motion?
I would,
If you
I would entertain a motion.
Yeah, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve on the condition that staff will talk with the artist and find out where the best location would be along that trail. Is that good?
Yeah.
That's my motion.
Second.
All those in
That's
favor
gonna
say aye. I'm in
Aye.
favor too.
Aye. Okay.
Aye. And that motion is passed. And And all these will go to the city council on Tuesday, so that everyone can go rah when we get there, so. Let's move on here, I don't think we have too much more here.
Information.
Let's see, we go on to informational.
And I don't have anything to add to the director's report other than what's listed in the agenda packet.
About an update on Farland Park and our Little Smith deal.
Yeah, so for
Think that's on
Farland
your-
Park, at the redevelopment authority today, they approved the purchase of the playground equipment.
Oh,
So that is done and will be on order soon. And then we selected at the council, at the last council meeting, they approved hiring the consultant to develop a master plan and engineering drawings. We reached out to the consultant this week and told them that they were selected. So we're currently working with them on finalizing their contract to begin the work.
thank you. Director Ditchite. Our next meeting.
I'll make a motion to receive and place on file. Oh, it's
Second.
informational, sorry.
It still would be to receive.
All right.
Second.
Receive and place on file, second.
Wait,
All
you
those in
said-
favor say aye.
You second.
I'm second. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that report is passed. Or approved. Next meeting is March 29th, 2023.
I will just mention that there is no council meeting the following week, so there's a potential that that meeting would be canceled. And then the following meeting after that would be April 12th, because there'd be no council action on the March 29th meeting.
We'll just wait.
When's Easter? It's gotta be right around then.
It is the night. I just looked at the other day.
I don't know. Anyway, that's,
Nice.
I'm figuring
Right.
that and
It's
the
nice.
election probably affects the.
It's tonight.
All right, motion to adjourn. I'll
Second.
make that motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Nice job.
And leave the meeting.
Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, I was given.